All right, good morning, guys. How are you? Welcome into the Daily Juice live stream here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. My name is Matt Perrault here for the next 30 or so minutes as we break down the Sunday games. We were here yesterday. We're back on Sunday. We'll have some picks. We'll have some props and news and notes as we go through it here. Clearly, the big news today is the availability of Taysom Hill. I'm not so concerned about Latavius Murray, but I am more concerned about what happens to the offense if there's not that binky, if you will, for Sean Payton with the Saints. I don't think it changes I know it doesn't change my pick or my bet on the Saints -3, but I do understand why the line is coming down. I get the Tampa money. I get that everyone's going to say, oh, you don't have Taysom Hill, so now it's just Drew Brees, and he can't throw the ball down the field, and that's rut-row time. Here's why I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think this is a dink and dunk and run type game for for the Saints against Tampa, and I think that is how you beat this Bucs defense. It's the intermediate stuff. It's not the big plays that kill you, although I do think Michael Thomas is going to have a couple of big plays today. I think it's got more to do with finding Cook over the middle. I looked at a bunch of different prop bets, man. I looked at Thomas, I looked at Cook, I looked at Kamara, all on receiving. And I went with one that's a little bit off the page. Not really crazy, but I think because Taysom Hill is out, I do like a prop bet that I'm going to give you guys here in a little bit involving Alvin Kamara. But I think the Saints are going to be okay today. I think this Saints defense is going to turn the football over today. But look, funky things happen, and I'm frustrated. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I didn't wake up this morning kicking mad at what happened last night. I mean, Justin Tucker missing 2 field goals. This is the best kicker ever, and missing 2 field goals changed everything. I mean, if he hits those 2 field goals, at least we get the teaser right, okay? At least we go 1-2 yesterday, and who knows, 1 or 2 plays here or there. I mean, the pick 6 by Lamar Jackson changed everything, but that game went pretty much how I thought it was going to go, except Lamar Jackson getting hurt and not having him for the entire fourth quarter, and then the end of game situation. I mean, I said it last night on the pod. They had, I think, 5 drives inside the 30, and they scored 3 points, and they gave up a 101-yard pick 6. I mean, that just doesn't happen. I mean, credit the Bills. I'm not trying to take away any credit from that Bills defense. They played phenomenally well. But, man alive, that was just – you look at Lamar Jackson, and again, if you're a Ravens fan, I think you got to be really concerned about big plays in big games and where Lamar is. He's tremendous in the regular season, but he's got to get better at throwing the football. He's got to be more accurate, and they didn't commit enough. It's crazy. They didn't commit enough to the actual to the passing game. And on the play he got hurt, I was talking about it. I was tweeting about it all day. I don't know what was going on between Jackson and his center, but the ball kept on looking like it was a half a second away from being snapped over his head. Like, it was coming back so fast. It was weird. Like, it wasn't your typical snap. It was like this firing. And every time Lamar just would, at a split second, just get his hands up fast enough to catch the football. And then on the play he got hurt, it gets snapped over his head. I mean, Hundley misses a wide open receiver running down the right sidelines. I mean, there was just so many bad breaks, and I'm not saying this. Congrats to the Bills. I'm not trying to say why I was wrong, but I'm giving you why I broke that game down the way that I broke that game down. I mean, I think I saw that game correctly. It just a bunch of things went nuts. The teaser bets, everyone had that teaser. I'm not alone here on that teaser. Everyone in the world had it, and everyone lost. It was a monster win for the sports books. And the books have done incredibly well over the last month, and it's kind of crazy because normally when the books do well, I tend to do well because I try to be on against the public as much as possible. But last night was the revenge of the public, and the win and the cover for the Packers, everyone had that. I mean, I was against it. Everyone had it. A lot of people had the Bills yesterday. I went against it. Everyone had it. You could say, Matt, that's not really, wake up here. You shouldn't be going against the public. And so I am kind of, sticking to my guns here with the Saints, and the public's on Tampa. And I get it. I get why. I mean, I'm wearing a Patriot hat. I'm a Brady guy, okay? I like Tom Brady a lot. But it's just frustrating, I think, when you look at it. And Scotty, okay, let me just, since we're talking about this game, saying the Bills won that game and I said it was going to be a blowout. That wasn't a blowout. Okay? You have a different definition of a blowout to me. In the fourth quarter, if you're down by 2 scores and you have the football, that's not a blowout. All right? The Bills, look, count the missed kicks as brutal. You can count one for the Bills if you want to, but it's 20-9 and they have the football down 11, okay? If they score that touchdown late, it's now, say they go for 2, if they get it hypothetically, now it's 20-17 hypothetically or 21-17. That's not a blowout. The Bills definitely played really well and outplayed the Ravens. No debating that. But the score is what we care about. The score is what we bet on. That was not a blowout, all right? And for all you Josh Allen lovers, you better be a little concerned there with how many wide open guys down the field he missed. The old Josh Allen, that was the old Josh Allen. That was the Josh Allen I've been saying for a long time, that he has no accuracy. And Buffalo, if they have to go to Arrowhead, he better get real accurate real quick because they're going to have to hit on all those plays, and they're not going to beat the Chiefs scoring 17 points. Not going to happen. And by the way, their offense scored 1 touchdown. 1. All right. So before you get all, I'm psyched for you, Buffalo. I get it. I would say act like you've been here before, but you haven't. So I can't really even say that. It's been a long time, and you guys are fired up, and I get it. But I mentioned this yesterday on the Daily Juice. We're getting more emotional than I want on the Discord chat. Okay. I get fandom. Okay. I'm a fan. I get the passion. I get the loyalty. But as sports gamblers, passion is our enemy. Fandom, in a lot of ways, is your enemy. You don't think clearly when you are staring at a game through the glasses of as a Bills fan, all right? Don't fight that. Fight that hard because that is not how you're going to win. Now, granted, I haven't won a lot over the last 2 weeks, so what am I talking about? I'm just telling you that emotional responses and getting all, puffing your chest out and getting all big and talking and running smack in the Discord, I will ban you for doing that. Okay? I will boot your ass. You will be gone. Okay? I don't care if you win a bet. Celebrate. I'm so psyched for you. Whether you fade or follow me, great. Okay, but watch it because last night during that Bills and Ravens game, it got very testy. I kicked out 2 people because they were getting really rude, going back and forth with each other. And if you're making fun of people who are losing money, you're gone. Okay? Straight up, you're gone. All right? And that's not, I don't want that. I don't want that to be part of the Daily Juice. Losing comes with this, okay? But making somebody feel bad about their bet or their loss, I don't think that that's appropriate, and I'm not going to stand for it, all right? Just not okay. So if you're a big Tampa Bay Bucs fan today, and you are pounding your chest that your team makes it if they win today, and you're back in the NFC Championship game for the first time in forever, great. That is awesome. Celebrate that. I will commend you. I will celebrate you. I will be all in on you doing that. I'm not going to be all in on you rubbing the nose in a Saints bettor's face or vice versa. If a Saints fan is like, we own the Bucs, you guys suck. Not cool, okay? Not cool at all. If you're a Browns fan today and you're betting on the Browns to beat the Chiefs and you want to run your mouth, not the place to do it. Okay, I saw it yesterday, and I get it as we get up into the NFC and AFC title games and then the Super Bowl, we get emotion, and emotion supersedes betting for you. That's fine. Maybe you should just kind of take a step back and quiet yourself down and be with your fellow friends because that's not the community that we're building here, okay? Fandom doesn't matter. Laundry doesn't matter, okay? This is about breaking down games. This is about betting games. This is about having a good time betting and watching games together, but not about rival fan bases. This is not a message board like you will see at some college, football program. That's not what we're doing, okay? So remember that. Keep your emotions in check and bet with your brain, not your heart. I have no problem with you betting with your heart. I have no problem with that. You say, I'm just going to bet this way and hope that I'm right. And if I'm right, this is awesome. Again, I'm not trying to say you can't celebrate or be excited. What I am saying is you can't make somebody else feel bad about what side they may have bet or what side they didn't may have bet because, it's just not It's just not what I want, okay? It's just not what Betting Pros wants. We want to be inclusive, we want to be accepting, and we want to all have a good time. And it gets very difficult when I see people running their mouth and saying things or making people feel bad or, just talking down to people about you think you're so wonderful and you think you're so great about the bet you made. That's all fine and good to celebrate. Don't do it at somebody else's expense, okay? All right, so we got 2 games here today, and I'll give you the prop bets here in a second. We're going to go with, hopefully my mic doesn't get shut off like yesterday. But, so on the Daily Juice, you guys should see, did I change that? I may have forgotten to change that. Hold on. I woke up, my brain was so crazy. I think the new prop bets, the new picks should be here, but if they're not, I'll change it. Hold on, let me see. Oh, no, they didn't do it. Hold on, let me change that. I did not change that. That's my bad. For the new picks, I'll do this. You guys can watch me do this live on the live stream. I can go ahead and change up our ads. Okay, our sidebar. Okay, so now you should see the plays here. There's only 2 of them. Saints -3. I am taking the KC Chiefs and I'm teasing it down. It went to 9.5, and when I saw that, I went, okay, boom, down to. I wanted 9, but I don't think I'm going to get there. So I took it 9.5. I pulled it down to 3.5, and we took the Chiefs. Look. If you're a Browns fan today and you are thinking your team is going to get what happened last week against Big Ben and the Steelers, it's not going to happen like that. All right, you're not going to go up 28-0 in the first quarter. You're not going to get a touchdown on the first snap of the game. You're not going to have 2 interceptions in the first quarter that lead to scores. I just personally don't believe that's going to happen. You could win the game, but you'll win the game in the fourth quarter, not the first quarter. And look, if you go back and replay that game, again, I go back to the Steelers had the ball, down 12, 4th and 1 on their own 46-yard line. If Mike Tomlin was aggressive, and if Mike Tomlin wanted to keep his team in the game, they go for it there. They probably get it there. And then who knows? They score a touchdown there, and all that momentum, that big snowball going down the hill, we could have seen one of the epic collapses of all time. But Tomlin punted, credit what happened with Baker Mayfield. They take the ball down the field, touchdown, game over. They slam the door shut as they should with their offense. I think they'll run the ball well today. I do. I think they'll move the ball well today. I think there's a chance that the over hits, but 57.5 was just too darn high for me. I couldn't go near it. I couldn't touch it. But I do think the Chiefs win today. And I do think there's a decent chance that in the fourth quarter, it's a real blowout. Like 31-10 type blowout, okay? The Chiefs, everyone's been talking, and I've lost a ton of money this year betting on the Chiefs, all right? This is why I'm not touching this game, because the Chiefs have been the kiss of death in the fourth quarter, and I don't want to sweat out a -10 in the fourth quarter with KC kicking their heels up going, we don't really care. It's the fourth quarter. We won. We've advanced, and get ready for the Buffalo Bills. We're going to make sure everyone stays healthy. I'm just not interested in having a fourth quarter that's like that. What I'm hoping is that at 3.5, what I'm hoping is that I'm not having to worry about that, and the Chiefs never let the Browns back within 7 points. Okay, I can easily see a 7-point victory today here for the KC Chiefs on the final score. Not because the game was close, but because the Chiefs got up so big that they just did what they did all year, which is back off. People are sending me stats about the Browns defense over the last 2 weeks and how good they've been against the pass. They played one team, right? They played the same team twice. So what do the stats matter for the games against the Steelers in week 17 and in week, in the wild card weekend? It's one team. So, okay, the Browns played well against the Steelers in back-to-back weeks defensively. Great. Who are they playing today? Oh, right, not Pittsburgh. So, what does it matter? It makes no sense to me to quote those numbers, to quote those stats. It means nothing. So, all right, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not expected to play. Let me rewind that. That's the latest from Rap. Okay, so we got Clyde Edwards-Helaire not expected to play. Running game for the Chiefs. That's significant, but keep him ready for next week, I'm guessing. Ronald Jones is still a game-time decision. I'm guessing he doesn't get many snaps. Taysom Hill is not likely, is the latest statement from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. Taysom Hill, not likely. Latavius Murray, also not likely. Doesn't change anything because Breeze Kamara and Thomas are all playing. If they weren't, it would change something dramatically. I probably would punt on the bet, but I'm not going to do that because I mean, the big three is still there. Look, this is going to be interesting. If the Saints play really well, this Taysom Hill thing, man, it could really hover over. I don't know what the love is. I don't know what the obsession is with Sean Payton, but now that they're not going to have him, if they go out there and put up a big number offensively and they throw the ball crazy and they're not doing any of those dumb plays, I mean, to be honest with you, for all of us who have been haters of the Taysom Hill experiment, this actually is a really good thing. This is a good deal. This is a big deal to not have to worry about him, coming in here and vulturing touchdowns and doing everything else he's been doing. So, okay, let's see. What team do you support besides wagering? I don't know. I'm from Boston. Here's a guess. I'm from Boston, okay? Now, my college basketball teams, I am a Creighton Blue Jay guy because of my years covering the Jays. I went to UMass Amherst, but UMass sports stink, so they never do anything. So I love UMass when they play, but they never play for anything. So I've adapted the Creighton Blue Jays as my college basketball team. My college football team, you could say it's Alabama because I covered Alabama for 5 years. So, I've got a lot of ties to Bama. I never got into Nebraska, Iowa, or Iowa State because they always consider themselves on par with Alabama, and it was kind of like, what? Like, no, not really all that interested. So, to me, that's where I go. I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm a Bruins fan first. I'm a Golden Knights fan second. But when they play, I want the Bruins to win, but every other time I'm looking at the Golden Knights. So, my fandom is pretty there, but I take my fandom and I remove my fandom as much as I possibly can because fandom and emotions are our enemy. They're your enemy. They are like, if you're a Star Wars guy, like fear is the lead to the dark side. Like fandom is the lead to the dark side. Okay. That's the path towards bitterness. That's the path towards, riding with Vader. Like we don't want that, okay? We want to be with Grogu. We want to go on that side, okay? We don't want to go with Vader. We don't like the emotion is your enemy. So keep it in check and remove it when it comes to betting. Money, green. There's that old adage like, what's your team color? Green. Like that's what we care about. And I mean, thankfully, I was able to do well in the UFC yesterday, which kind of saved my tail. I've been literally like flat almost every day for a while, but I'm losing money on the pod, hand over fist right now. So basically, in the NFL, all of my winnings in the NFL have been given back in the postseason. Like I had a nice nugget in the regular season, and in the postseason, I've pretty much given it all back. Like that is extraordinarily frustrating. I want January to end already because of what's happening. I want to get to February. I want to, we've done fairly well in the NHL to start. We've done fairly well in college basketball to start. Hopefully we get some stability there with some numbers and whatnot. But yeah, playoff football. I mean, again, I said this in the Discord this morning, but if I get killed today, if I go 0-2, I will be tiptoeing so much into the NFC and AFC championship game that I'll probably only play prop bets. Like that's how much I'm just going to stay away from it because I'm clearly not seeing it right. And I mean, a lot of people that I trust, a lot of guys I talk to, my same people, my circle, right? The people I talk to, we all got killed yesterday. Like we were texting back and forth all weekend going, or all day yesterday going, what the hell is happening? Like, how in the hell? Like, everything that we see that little window for the Rams to get it to 7 and they can't get there. That little window, we see it where the Ravens might be able to keep it close and they can't get there, and then Lamar gets hurt. So, like, the 2 prop bets on Lamar go out the window. Like, it's just, that's why prop bets have always been such a stinker, because one injury and you're toast. Like, Lamar Jackson rushing on his way there. I mean, he basically got halfway there, and you figure, okay, 1 or 2 more drives in the fourth quarter, he may get to the prop, and then maybe a rushing touchdown if they score, but they don't even score a touchdown. So hard to have an anytime touchdown when you don't even get that. But, I bet the second half under last night, which wasn't bad. It was 23.5, and a bunch of people were talking, hold on, I'll get to the props in a second, but a bunch of people were saying this to me in the game. Why didn't we know about the wind? It's a great question. Why didn't we know about the wind? And I get it. It's January in upstate New York. freak windstorms happen all the time with wind off the lake. But that was not predicted or forecasted by anyone that I saw. And I read, before I make bets in January, I'm reading weather reports. I'm going and looking at different guys who do. Kevin Roth is a great guy who does stuff on Twitter. Look him up. He's a guy who does a lot of fantasy stuff, but the same thing for gambling. And it was just going to be cold with breeze. It was 8 to 10 mile per hour breeze. Baloney. That was ridiculous. That was 30 mile per hour wind gusts, it looked like. It was incredible. If I had known that, the under is a play I would have made going into the game. I would have said, bet the under and that's it. Because as we've seen, we don't care about cold. We don't care about rain or snow for the total. We care about wind. And you saw 2 Justin Tucker kicks be affected by the wind, 1 kick by the Bills affected by the wind. Throws, Josh Allen, again, his accuracy is questionable as is, and his accuracy was all over the place with the wind. So not going to have that problem here, I don't believe, as far as I could tell. Kansas City, it's cold, not windy, and we're indoors for New Orleans for the Saints and the Bucs. All right, let's get to some prop bets here. So those are the plays. We'll get to the money from FanDuel here in a second as well, but let's see if my microphone stays on today. And it did. Oh, it stayed on. Okay, here are the prop bets for the divisional round. I have bet the over by teasing it down, okay? I believe Tom Brady has a chance to have a pretty big day throwing the football today against the Saints. I think it's a high-scoring game. Tom Brady has had already a game this year where he threw 2 touchdowns. So the plus 150 made this attractive enough for me to go with Tom Brady over 2.5 passing touchdowns today at plus 150. It's a little bit of a flyer, okay? I get it. It's a little bit of a flyer. But I like Brady over 2.5 passing touchdowns today at plus 150 because I do think offense today for the Bucs and the Saints. I know the trends are all on the Saints and the under. I think the last 4 games at home for the Saints have all gone under. I think the last 5 times Saints and Bucs have played, the under, depending on what the closing number was, has come in under. I get all that. I think that changes. I don't see Tom Brady losing without going out with a bang, okay? I think Brady, if he loses today, which I think he's going to, I think he's going to put up numbers. Brady, 2.5 passing touchdowns today. Hardman, this is Dan Harris's pick here. This is his prop that I've bet. Hardman over 34.5 receiving yards at minus 112. I think this is a interesting situation for secondary receivers because maybe the Browns focus all their attention on the big guys and then it allows Hardman potentially to come over. He's big in the screen game, bubble screens and whatnot. He just pops 1 or 2 of them and he gets to 34.5 yards receiving. So I like that. Alvin Kamara rushing yards. As I said, I went over and over and over this as to what is the best Kamara prop to take. Everyone's going to take the dink and dunk receiving yards for Alvin Kamara. But I went the other way because I think if this Bucs defense is going to get really aggressive, if they're going to go upfield and try to get after Drew Brees, the offensive line for the Saints is really good. But I think Kamara's got a chance to pop 1 or 2 big runs to get over 70.5 yard rushing. So I'm going to expect a couple of big rushings, a couple of 30-yard runs here for Alvin Kamara. I know it's tough to run on the Bucs defense. I get it consistently, but I think this is how they try to slow down the Buccaneers, and I think if they're going upfield to get after Drew Brees, give the ball to Kamara on draws and let him go to work. So we're going over Alvin Kamara for 70.5 rushing yards. And then finally, this is the prop everyone's playing, this prop, Nick Chubb over 67.5 yards rushing. I get that there's conflicting or opposite sides of the same coin thought as to what the Browns are going to do today. Some are saying just go out there and score with Kansas City. Don't try this keep the ball away from Mahomes. Just go and try to score and keep up pace. Others are saying run the ball, bleed the clock. I just think the Browns are going to bleed the clock. I don't necessarily think the Hunt revenge game is going to happen in the running game, but I think Nick Chubb's going to have a big game running the football here. So we went over Nick Chubb, 67.5 yards rushing. So those are our 4 prop bets going for a quarter unit each. Brady over 2.5 passing yards. Hardman over 34.5 receiving yards. Kamara over 70.5 rushing yards. And Nick Chubb over 67.5 yards rushing. I feel that the Brady one, I get it. The Tom Brady one is a little bit of a long shot, and there's a chance that if Tom Brady gets the 3 touchdown tosses, that the Bucs are going to win the game. That's very possible. So it's a little bit of a hedge on my Saints bet. If I'm wrong about the Saints and Brady has a monster game, he'll throw for over 3 touchdowns, and we make a little plus money there at plus 150. So get a little bit of the money back from the 1-unit bet. So that's kind of a way I did it a little bit yesterday. I got the Green Bay Packers. I had the Packers teased down to 0.5 point. Unfortunately, the Ravens did not do what I thought they would do, is keep it within 8 points or 8.5 points, and they didn't do that. So that teaser is now 14-9. So hopefully we get a win here. 15-9 is not horrible, but the 2-team teaser for this year, I've chosen to tease the total of this game down and not take the Buccaneers up. That will be a very popular bet today, is the Buccaneers from 3 up to 9, much like yesterday when the Buffalo Bills were very popular, the Ravens were popular against the Bills up to 8.5. Could we get a 10-point win by the Saints? Yes. So that's why I avoided that, because I was like, I don't want to do that because I think the Saints could win by double digits, and that kind of concerns me, so that's why I didn't do that. That's why I did the opposite of what that teaser from yesterday, instead teasing the total down from 52 down to 46 and taking the over for the Saints and the Buccaneers. Okay, let's get to some of the questions from you guys here on the live stream. Wow, they get you a lot of messages today. Okay. Yeah, Hill's out. Okay, yeah, Hill is not likely. Not out, not likely. So that's the big news there. Both quarterbacks looked off yesterday. That's true. Best case scenario is Tampa Bay Buffalo Super Bowl. Tommy rips out the hearts of Bills fans once again. Yeah, I guess so, but I've not seen this Buccaneer team look like a championship team all year. I don't think so. I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen the complete. I don't think this offense is good enough. I just don't. And maybe the key to the offense is Antonio Brown. And maybe his emergence is going to change everything. But I've said it before. I liked the Tampa offense in weeks 1 to 4 a hell of a lot more than I like it now. And I liked it when it looked like the Patriots. And it looked like the Patriots. Scotty Miller was heavily involved. Gronk was heavily involved. They used Mike Evans down over the top in the Randy Moss role of him with the big play. I've seen that. I've seen that offense run the ball. Use your running backs on third down. Use your running backs in the screen game to slow down a pass rush. That offense works. Tom Brady can win it all with that offense. This idea of like, hey, if we can't run the ball, go run 4 fly patterns and I'm going to throw it down like I'm playing in a backyard schoolyard playing 500, that doesn't work. And it won't work today against the Saints. And that's why, to me, if they can't run the ball, if Jones is not effective, and Fournette ran the ball really well in the first half last week against Washington, that's Washington. This is the Saints. Much better defense. So that's why I don't like this offense. And that's why Brady has struggled so mightily against the Saints, because the Saints just say, we're going to stop the run and we're going to, not allow you to throw over the middle and not allow you to throw dink and dunk. You got to throw deep, and Brady throwing deep struggles. Like, everyone knows that. So that's just why I don't think that Tampa Bay team wins at all. I don't think they win today, but I don't think they win at all. Because going to Green Bay, That's why I bet the Packers. That's why I have a 5-1 ticket on the Packers to win it all. Because the Packers win a home game. They did. They've got another home game next weekend, next Sunday. I think they win that. And then they go to Tampa. And then we'll talk about who they're going to play, but very likely it's Kansas City and Green Bay, and the NFL gets what it wants, which is a really big marquee matchup. Mahomes going for number 2 and Rodgers going for number 2. Now, you can play that out, right? I think that's the course we've been on all year. I think that's the course we're going to get. I think the Packers win that game. So that's why I bet what I bet. Looking for questions. What do you guys think about Kareem Hunt over 2.5 receptions? It's plus 105 on DraftKings. Yeah, I think that's really possible. I think Kareem Hunt in the passing game, sure. I think he could definitely. They're going to give him the football, okay? I mean, whether it's a revenge game or not, they're going to give Kareem Hunt the football. He's going to be involved. I mean, whether he be running or passing, Kareem Hunt's going to be a big part of the offense for the Browns. So, I could see him in the screen game. I could see him as a check down guy for sure. If the Chiefs are going to drop back and play coverage and they're going to allow the underneath stuff, that's going to be Kareem Hunt. It's going to be up to Baker Mayfield to take that and not take deep shots. And Baker can't hurt his team. I mean, Baker can't throw interceptions. He can't be holding the ball in the pocket. He can't let the pass rush gets home. This is a monster game, obviously the biggest game in Baker Mayfield's career. So let's see what Baker looks like. He looked tremendous last week against Pittsburgh, but he had just played there the week prior against the very same team. Different players, but still same team. Now it's the Chiefs. Now it's Arrowhead. One thing that is really hard to handicap, and one thing that there's no way to quantify it, but fans in the stands. The Bills fans were, I wasn't there, obviously, but just on TV, they were loud. They were really, really loud. And there were only 7,000 of them there, but it felt like an atmosphere. Normally, I was thinking about this last night during the game. Like, normally when you go to a football game, and I've gone to a bunch of them, where there's only like 7,000 people, normally they're the diehards, but normally there's only 7,000 people there because the team sucks. Right? Like no one wants to go to the game because the team stinks. So there's a lot of apathy. There's a lot of, sitting on your hands and going there just because you like to watch it or it's a tradition for your family or whatever. That's not what's happening here for these games in the NFL. These are the diehard of the diehard. These are the crazies. These are the loud of the loud who are going to bang, kick, scream, and do whatever they can do to make as much noise as possible for the rival offense. And I think Lamar Jackson was clearly rattled by that. I think he clearly had a difficult time because they hadn't practiced with it. They hadn't seen it. It's uncharted territory because these guys have played an entire year now in silent stadiums. And now we've got some juice in the stadium for the home game. And you just wonder, all of a sudden, remember, we always give 3 points to a home team, right? So now it's like, we're going to have fans at Arrowhead. We're going to have fans with the Saints. Now, it's not going to be a lot, but there's going to be some fans here. And what does that do as we start to see more and more fans show up? And we always talk about the atmosphere in the Super Bowl, right? It always stinks. Maybe it's going to be good. Maybe we'll have a good atmosphere because we're going to send the diehards of the diehards, and there's going to be fans. How many fans are going to be there would be a question, but I mean, the NFL is going to let people in. I mean, Florida will let people into Tampa, and it just happens to work out really well that Florida has been the most liberal of all states when it comes to attendance, and you've got the Super Bowl there in Tampa. So, I don't know, 33%? I mean, whatever it may be, it's going to feel like a game day atmosphere. So, I don't know how you quantify that. It's just another thing that's made this whole season so funky and so difficult to handicap. But that was a great atmosphere. You got to give Bills Mafia a ton of credit for what they did and the noise they created in that game. So we'll see what Chiefs fans are going to do coming up here today, how loud they're going to be in their first game. Yes, I am teasing the over for the Bucs game. Yes, that was the teaser. I lost the teaser yesterday, but it put Packers -7, which kept my bankroll decent shape. Good job, Kurt. Nice job. I knew about the win that's a factor in that team for over 20 years. Okay, Scotty, look at I'll great. I mean, if you have inside knowledge, that's great. But forecasts are forecasts. Like that was wrong. The forecast was wrong. like bottom line, the forecast was wrong. It was, lake effect wind. If you say the wind might be there, but for all of us who are just looking at what the experts are saying, and meteorologists who are paid to do that, there was not a meteorologist out there saying there were going to be 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Okay, and that would have changed things. It would have changed my bet. At least I would have bet the under for sure if I had known that. If you guys have been listening to the Daily Juice or this live stream, whatever we're talking about, when it comes to wind, that's all we care about. So if next week in Green Bay, if it's 40 degrees, sunny, and windy, we'll bet the under. I don't care about anything else. Wind is the only thing that matters for totals. That's it. No other weather matters. No other weather has a major impact on offenses. It is only the wind. And the wind in that Bills game was significant. Had a huge deal. If you like Brady over 2.5 touchdowns, do you like over 300 yards for Brady as well? That's a BetMGM boost. If you're a Daily Juice listener, you probably know how I'm going to answer this. Here's the thing. Those boosts scare me. Okay, those boosts oftentimes, if the book is giving you this stuff, I just don't trust the book. That's just kind of my, it's in my nature not to trust sports books. I don't think they're in the business of giving away money. So whenever I see one of these boosts, I'm like, Because, okay, so a Daily Juice listener last night had a 3-3 first half score, and he took it on an odds boost. So it was like plus 1,100, and they gave him an odds boost to plus 1,700. Do you know how insane it has to be for that to fall 3-3? You have to have Justin bleeping Tucker, and the kicker for the Bills, whose name is escaping me. 3 missed field goals had to happen for a 3-3 score because you had to have 1 made field goal by Justin Tucker, but he missed 2. No touchdowns to be scored for either team, and a 3-3 first half score. So they gave him a big odds boost. He hit a $25 bet for $500. All right, that's an awesome hit. It's also a lottery ticket. It's incredibly. So like when it comes to these odds boosts, I don't get them here in Vegas, so I don't have a lot of experience playing with them. We don't get, parlay insurance in Vegas. We don't get your karma committees, right? We don't get those where you guys get your bets back. We don't get those. We have none of that stuff in Vegas. So my experience with it, after living here for 5 years, my experience is basically like you make a bet, you lose the bet. That's it. There's nothing that happens before that elevates the bet or behind it that gets you your money back. That stuff doesn't exist in Las Vegas. That is an East Coast new market thing. So whenever you guys come at me and ask me for, hey, I have an odds boost for blah, 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 would you do X? My experience with it is very little. That's why I brought Captain Jack Andrews onto the Daily Juice. And since you're on here on YouTube, when we're done here in 5-10 minutes, you guys can go look at Captain Jack Andrews. His page is awesome. Professional gambler and a guy who has great videos up onto how to use different things. He talks to you about how to use free money, okay? So if you get that $100 boost, if you're a Daily Juice listener and you haven't gotten a BetMGM account and you want to go and do that, Juice100 is the promo code for that. And so we, different NFL and college basketball things and NBA things that are in there. But if you won that $1 bet turns into $100 in free wagers. What to do with that free $100? Captain Jack Andrews will help you do that. So check him out. Check out his stuff. I think he's absolutely tremendous guy in New Jersey. Very big, high-stakes gambler, extremely smart guy, and somebody who was really cool to come on the Daily Juice. And if you want to listen to that podcast, just kind of go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts and scroll through. It's about a couple of months ago. We had Jack Andrews on, Captain Jack, not his real name. Okay, he explains in the interview. He explains why he's Captain Jack Andrews, but he doesn't use his real name. You could say that kind of gives him credibility as to who he is, but he's a guy who's made a lot of money in casinos, both betting sports and betting just card games and whatnot. But he has a great recommendation as to how to use your free wagers. Let's see. Somebody wants me to post. Okay, let's see. Last time I did this, the second time is when it killed my microphone. Let's see what happens when I go. I'm still there. Okay, good. So here are the prop bets for today in case you have missed them. Brady over 2.5. Hardman over 34.5 receiving. Kamara over 70.5 rushing. Now that's, okay, I get it, rushing. And Nick Chubb over 67.5 yards rushing. Okay, those are our 4 props at a quarter unit apiece. So 1 unit in action there. 1 unit with the Saints -3, and 1 unit on the teaser. I am taking the over 46, and I'm taking the Chiefs down to 3.5 and taking the KC Chiefs to win today. They win by a field goal. I will cry. That's kind of the way that I've been rolling, but I just can't see the Browns winning this. And again, could I see the Browns getting destroyed today? Yes. Would that make the Chubb prop a little bit dangerous? Yes. What I'm hoping is that Nick Chubb gets that prop in the first half. That's my hope, that we get Nick Chubb to hit that rushing prop in the first half. So that allows us to not have to worry about it in the second half because that could be scary. Sammy Watkins, by the way, is out today with a calf injury. He's not playing. I already told you about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He is out as well for Kansas City. That ultimately will bump up the Hardman targets to have those 2 guys out. So that's good news if you want to bet that prop with Michael Hardman. Michael Hardman over 34.5 yards receiving at minus 112. Okay, so let's see when I close this down. Okay, my microphone stayed good. And let's see. I'll love to take the Chiefs at 9.5. Yeah, I'll lie, but now this is a good place to end it. So in terms of live betting, okay, like I mentioned yesterday, I was able to get out of and I really don't know how to do this yet. Not to go on a long rant here, but one of the things you guys are asking for are in-game wagers. So the Discord chat, a lot of people are talking about what do you bet, how do you take it, what do you do. So if you watched and I've had the pleasure to talk to Joe Fortenbaugh before the MegaCast, and then I had Doug Kazarian on after the MegaCast for the game for the Ravens and the Titans, where they were doing live in-game wagering and betting. The whole thing with the Daily Juice is to keep track of what I do and bets I recommend, bets going into the game. The in-game wagering opportunity is exploding. And I use in-game wagering to get out of bad bets. All right. So like oftentimes on bets I've gotten wrong on the Daily Juice, I've saved myself the bankroll by coming back and betting the other side. Or like last night, I took the under 23.5 points in the second half and came nowhere near hitting that. And that's where I look at games and I'm like, okay, I'm on the wrong side here. This is, I need to punt on a bet. That's how I use in-game wagering. Other people use it for offense. I use it for defense. How do I tell you guys that? How do I track that? It's really difficult to do that. It's really hard to do that because then I'm like, I'm living a life. I got a 6-year-old daughter. I've got my family. Like I'm doing different things. I have my phone. I'm doing, honey-do lists. I'm making bets while I'm driving. Like just not driving, but I'm in the car and like I'll hear something or I'll get a text message. Someone will say, hey, bet that. So like, on my radio show, someone will say, hey, take this, and I'll bet it on my radio show. I had the over yesterday for the main event. So I had that. I told you guys in the podcast I was personally betting that, but I wasn't going to track that. So it's like it's getting – I got to figure out how to do in-game wagering because the Betting Pros guys want me to be tracked. So it's hard because like I think it's like disingenuous to do a podcast in the morning and say, okay, Saints -3. And if the Buccaneers come out and just, first two drives, boom, 14-14, and like there's a number, the Saints come back, or you bet the Saints live on the money line, right? They go down 14, Saints money line goes up and it's plus 200 Saints money line. And you throw, quarter unit down at plus 200 or plus 300, whatever it might be. Like, to go ahead and at everyone on Discord is still only going to hit about 1/3 of the total audience that we have for Betting Pros for the Daily Juice. So like, even though I love the Discord chat, it's phenomenal. It's only 1/3 of what our daily audience is for everyone that's signed up, and not everyone's on at the same time. Generally speaking, there's about 300 people who are on the Discord chat. bettingpros.com/chat is the Discord. So like that's I don't know. We'll figure that out at some point down the line as to how to do this. My pregame bets have sucked. Okay. Thank goodness for in-game wagering. That's all I got to say. So thank goodness we have in-game wagering because it has saved my tail over the last 2 weeks. Hopefully I don't need to continue to do that. And people have asked me, and you guys in the Discord chat will say, hey, Matt, should I punt on this? And I'll give you my recommendation, or I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll say, hey, this is what I've done. Last night I said, hey, I'm betting the under in the second half. And win. I'm betting the under. 23.5, we're betting the under. And let's get out of this, this first bet that we've got. I had 2 bets blown up for that one game, so I couldn't get out of all of it. But I got out of one of them, and just because it was, this is not looking the way that I want it to go, so I'm going to go ahead and take the under at -110. So that's how I use in-game wagering. I have no clue how in the world we do that from a tracking perspective, but if you want to fade my picks today, you are not going to hurt my feelings, not by any means. And a lot's going on that Saints game. If it's somehow like a 23-20 win for the Saints today, I'll just fall down crying. Like that's the way I'm rolling. So play this back, if the Saints win 23-20 today, that's just how I've been running. Like that's just the under hits even after me teasing it down, and the Saints don't cover the 3, or well, I guess it would be. I guess that would be a push, right? No, so it would be 24-20 for no. It would be 21-20. That's what we get. Right. I need a Saints win by 1 or 2 because I have the Saints -3. So that's how I've been running, like half a point and 1 point. So like 21-20 the win today for the New Orleans Saints. That's how, if I'm running really poorly consistently, that's what the score will be today. 21-20 for that. All right, so we have a lot more cool things coming up here for the Daily Juice. I'm still working on the Super Bowl. I don't know if we're going to be able to do what I want to do yet. We're still trying to figure that out, but we have a little time still. So we're still working on what happens for the Super Bowl. We're going to be back for 2 more times, live stream for Championship Sunday and then live stream for the Super Bowl. We'll have 2 more live streams going on. I probably will bring back the live stream for the Final Four. That's, that Saturday, we'll probably do a live stream in March for the Final Four and have the 2 games. We'll break down the 2 games going off in Indianapolis for the Final Four. And then maybe we'll do a live stream for the championship night on Monday. We might do that. So somebody said, hey, wait a minute. Are you done with live streams for good? No. We're just done with live streams for the NFL. Like we'll be back coming up in the fall. We'll be back, in September doing these again. But just for the football season, we've got 2 more of these for live streams for prop bets and whatnot. But we'll still come back and do more stuff. Like I mentioned last time, we have a lot of plans for this YouTube channel. If you've not hit subscribe yet, please do that. Hit subscribe so you always know when our videos go up and when our live streams go up and whatnot. But please hit subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. In the Discord chat, same name, at SportsTalkMatt, bettingpros.com/chat. Best of luck to you and me, and let's hopefully have a decent day today coming up here for these 2 football games. I'll talk to you in the Discord chat, and then next Sunday for Championship Sunday for the NFC and AFC.